I'm Sammy Osman, and welcome to this episode of Knockouts, where we showcase powerful, highly competitive women in extreme sports. Tonight, we take a look at Brianna Hennessy, a rising boxer with her eyes set on making Canada's Olympic team in 2012. In August 2009, the International Olympic Committee had approved women's boxing for the Games in London. This will be the first time women will have a chance to compete for gold within the history of the sport. Brianna Hennessy, with a record of 8 wins and 3 losses, continues her training at Gail Kerwin Boxing Club. Named after her uncle, who was once a Canadian boxing champion in the welterweight division and ranked 10th in the world at the height of his career. Compared to men's boxing, women don't have as much popularity and have struggled to prove that they can compete on the same level with as much heart and determination. At the age of 25, Brianna hopes to stand inside the ring in London, represent her country, and be part of history. Her struggle begins with qualifying for the provincials in Ottawa, Canada, in order to get the chance to win Olympic gold.
I remember the first time going to the gym, and it took me 2 months, I think, to convince my coach to start coaching me, just because I was a female. So it takes 2 years to make a boxer. So I guess the first time I remember meeting with him, he was saying to me, boxing is like no other sport. You'll never be challenged like this mentally or physically. And I didn't believe him. I said, well, I've played rugby, I've had 10 girls, on my back, monkey back at me while I'm trying to get down the field. I've been tackled and sandwiched, and honestly, 30 seconds on the heavy bag, and I believed him on the spot.
When was the first time you saw a female boxer come through the doors here?
About 15 years ago.
So what did you think when you first saw a female boxer come to your club?
Well, I didn't like women boxing back then, but I have changed my mind. In fact, their skills are as good as a lot of the men now,
What are some of the things that you've seen her progress at and get to the point where she is now, which is a very good boxer?
The skills, obviously, and that comes with a lot of training and repetition and hard work. She's the type of person that can work alone. Her conditioning is always up there at the top. Never have to worry about her conditioning. Her skills with her coaches or myself, she works very hard at trying to improve.
What will it take for Brianna to make the Olympic team?
Probably more experience, and that comes with a lot more competition, a lot more fights, and otherwise that's how you improve. The more you compete, the better you're going to get.
We fight, and there's a long break between fight number 1, fight number 2, and because of that, she's not climbing as quickly as she should be. We're not active enough. Active like once, twice a month, and not once, twice a year.
You may get 2 or 3 at one tournament, and then it may be a couple more months until you have another fight. So it's, let's say, five in a year. It's just really hard to match women. and there'll be a lot more that are scheduled, but there'll be so many different variables, you know, why they don't show up. We say failure of heart, I guess, when you get a call the same day with some sort of excuse, like they're sick or they've gotten into a car accident. You never really know what actually happens. You're sort of just left in the dark, and just kind of, it's out of your control, right? There's so much preparation that goes into a fight, and there's so much anxiety that you go through in a week, because you go through so much mentally, you know what I mean? It's just absolutely draining. So my last fight, for example, there was a girl that came up from the States with the whole team, and I guess one of the guys on the team had a criminal record, so the whole team had to turn around. So the night before, which is the absolute worst, right? You can hardly fall asleep. You're trying to keep yourself calm. You're trying to conserve as much energy as you can, and then you show up at the fight. I do my weigh-in, and I do my physical, and then I find out that she isn't coming. So it kills you. You know what I mean? You go through all the anxiety saying, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? You know what I mean? But then when it comes down to it and it's canceled, it breaks your heart. And you have a lot of family and friends that are coming out to support you. So you feel like you let them down, even though it's not in your control, you know? So it's tough. It's really tough. It's the worst part of the sport.
Wow, you know, first fight, I remember standing there ringside, almost wanting to be in the ring.
When she does get hit, the maternal instinct definitely kicks in, and I could definitely see myself going after the person that hit her if I saw that she was hurt. You know, like it's obviously a lot easier to see her punch someone else than to see her take a hit. It's very difficult watching her take a hit, especially in the face, and when her head snaps back. You know.
Overall, my friends and family are there for the right reasons to support me, and honestly, I feel it in my heart. So I'm coming up to my 3-year mark for boxing, and of course my next biggest goal is the 2012 Olympics. It's the first time that women are going to be boxing, and you know, you see way more women these days in male-dominating sports, so I'd really love to be there to represent my country, and this will be a historic event. I'm in the ring sparring with the guys a couple times a week. You know, I get my bloody nose, and I can't punch as fast as them. They're quicker than me. They can obviously punch harder when you know what I mean. I fall off my horse, I get up and I keep going. You know, so it's all about coming back the next day, and it takes a while to gain that respect, but it's an amazing feeling, I guess. You know, you can lose. It doesn't matter. It's if you come to the gym the next day after you've lost, that's where you get your respect.
Brianna has recently been scheduled to fight at the annual club championships at Scotiabank Place in Ottawa, Canada. She prepares hard for the fight, since it will ultimately determine whether or not she'll qualify for the provincials in order to make the National Olympic team for London 2012. I caught up to her opponent, Carrie Cardinale, as she attended the training session. Carrie, how do you feel going into the club championships with Brianna?
I feel very confident. I'm at the top of my game, train every day, live and breathe at my academy.
How have you ramped up your training to prepare for the fight?
Tons of cardio, tons of bag work, tons of pad work. I've trained till the sun goes down pretty much every day.
This fight will determine whether or not you make the provincials, which in turn will give you a chance at the Olympic team in 2012. What are your thoughts?
I think it's awesome. It's good motivation for me. More motivation for me to do well against Brianna, because it's been my dream since I was a kid to go to the Olympics. So I think it's good motivation.
You've originally trained in Muay Thai and now you switch over to boxing. Do you feel that this will give you an advantage or add challenge to the fight?
I think it gives me a huge advantage because I don't have to worry about looking at feet coming at me. I just got to concentrate on her hands. My footwork is a lot quicker.
Yeah, there we go. Come on, make some noise.
I believe my striking is stronger. And I believe that the Muay Thai background will give me a huge advantage.
So you've heard that Brianna has knocked out 2 opponents in the very first round. Does that intimidate you?
No, because I've had a few knockouts of my own, so it doesn't intimidate me at all.
Do you have a message for Brianna before the fight?
Keep your hands up, because I'll be throwing.
Thanks for talking to us, Gary.
Thank you.
Part of my routine before my matches is I go to the Papaneck Zoo. I come here and I try and spend a day with Apollo, just in calming my anxiety down and sort of just watching the way how he's relaxed, and it sort of calms me down, I guess, in the same way. And I kind of, I guess, try to write about that, write about just the way he moves, the way I want to move. It just seems like that he just knows in every way. He has every part of his body's connected, mind and body, and he has everything under control. You know, he just has that connection, and you know, I look up to him in that sense, you know, before my fights, because that's the hardest part, is when you have so much anxiety, it's, you know, it cuts that connection between, you know, your mind and your body, and just getting in the zone and following through with your game plan and having any sort of game sense. So because it's one of my weaknesses, I try to, I guess I try and get that feeling here, and I try and bring it with me the closer I can to my fight. So I'm working on it. It's getting better every time. I guess I kind of think of it as a survival, an instincts, bringing out my instincts, my basic or my killer instincts, and just connecting with those again when I'm in the ring. And just as I guess Apollo would, you know, you're cornered and then you're going to attack. So I kind of picture the same thing that he would do, and try and execute the same power and strength. For every one of my matches, I get a black jaguar crawling up the back of my calf. And that's just a symbolism for me of the strength that I get from the black jaguar at the zoo when I go to see him. I always picture him coming in the ring with me before my fight, just in staying calm like a cat does, and just ready to explode at any second. And that's what boxing is about. It's about conserving your energy and just being able to explode at, you know, at a split second. When my anxiety is so high and I can't, let's say I can't visualize him, then I can literally just look down at him and know that he's with me, he's there giving me his strength.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Capital Boxing Club Championships at Scotiabank Place in Ottawa, Canada. These fights will determine whether or not the participants advance to the provincial championships and eventually go on to make the Olympic team. Brianna Hennessy will go up against Kerri Cardinal. These two fighters are up next, and we'll showcase them live right after this.